Yo, everybody, welcome to session 5 of Subs Lie, Dubs Lie, a comprehensive anime podcast. It's your boy, Jay, aka Versace Vegeta, aka Goku Shattered Dreams.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy, Brother D, back at you again to talk about these two great movies. Great.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a nice little adventure here talking about Dragon Ball Z movies 7 and 9 here with Super Android 13 and Bojack Unbound. But before we get into those, dog, how you been? How you been living?
Brother man, I've been doing pretty damn good. A lot's been going on in terms of sports. Again, summer league is going on for the NBA, so I've been really tuned in, looking at the young cats. Been really impressed with some, kind of at some others, but other than that, life has just been around sports for this whole week for me.
Yeah.
Brother man, what about you?
Okay, man. Honestly, I've been doing a lot to just get back into the feel of where I was at as a kid with these Dragon Ball Z stories, man. So, especially when I've been going back and rewatching some of these movies, I'll go back and watch old specials or things that I was into related to Dragon Ball Z at the time. So, I've been playing some Dragon Ball Z Legends from PS1.
Oh, that's
Remember?
a good ass game. That's a good ass game, yo.
That was
Underrated ass game. Shit.
Exactly. That's it. For those who don't know, that's the one game that didn't make it to the States from the PS1. And y'all can definitely expect me to stream that pretty soon over on Twitch. But aside from that, I also went and watched Dragon Ball Z Plan to Eradicate the Science, which was the OVA special that came out with a Pladia game by Bandai, which essentially is the unofficial movie, right? Like you've got Goku, Gohan, Piccolo, Vegeta, Trunks all fighting against Frieza, Cooler, Turles, and Lord Slug, right? Like then there's a whole person that's brought them all together. It's interesting stuff. Maybe one day we'll talk about that, but been getting into that, man. Playing some games here lately as well. I went into Sonic Origins for a little bit, man.
Oh,
really been enjoying that. Just being able to play through all the old Genesis Sonic games all in one go has been really fun.
Yes, sir.
And I'm definitely a guy that loves the emulators, but I will say the presentation of this it's got me a little bit, man. Like
that's sweet.
I've really dug what they brought to this with there being the 16:9 display and everything like that. So, playing some of that, and really just as always, man, getting to these Dragon Ball Z movies, man.
Yes, sir. That's all we do around here, man. We gotta make sure we get into the DBZ feel. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. That's why, like I say, I've been trying to get tapped into where I was at back then because these two movies, interesting enough, back when I was really getting into Dragon Ball Z, it wasn't just the Toonami stuff; it was also the fan sub tapes that my uncle would have back in the day. And for instance, we did have a tape that had movies 7, 9, and 13. And then we had another tape that had 8, 10, and 12 on it, right? Ooh. But the 7, 9, and 13 tape was the one we got first. So it's really interesting that we're going into those movies here today because my first experience of any sort of like Japanese fan subs Dragon Ball Z back in the day were these two movies in like one VHS we had. So I had to take myself back there because it brought me back there. But I will say, man, watching these movies with a new eye has definitely led me just a different feel than I had back then.
I would love to hear that. I don't want to get in too much yet, but
yeah, I feel you on that one. Yeah, before we get into it, though, let's at least start somewhere good with Extreme Battle: The Three Great Super Saiyans, also known as Dragon Ball Z Movie 7 in the States, Super Android 13.
Dr. Gero met his untimely doom at the hands of one of his own offspring. But even though his life was snuffed out, deep in the caverns of his laboratory, his twisted brilliance lived on. Unknown to the world above, a supercomputer was diligently working to realize the Doctor's dark dream, to create the ultimate indestructible android killing machine.
So, brother D, tell me, man, as you were going through this, I know we were spending a lot of time just trying to consider, what it was like for Japan at the time whenever they got this movie.
Brother, man, this movie, when I first got into this movie back then, really, really cool. You know what I'm saying? Really cool for me, because, again, the selling point really is these 3 Super Saiyans. And as a kid, I really liked Super Saiyans. Like, who didn't, honestly?
True.
Like, who didn't? Like, and to see 3 of them at the same time, that's a real big selling point.
That's exactly right.
Like, that's really a big selling point.
Because, to be real with you, that's exactly how they sold the movie over there. That's like literally just the name of the movie in and of itself. Because at the time, they're in the Android arc, right? Yeah. We've got the early era where they're facing off against 17 and 18, and at no point in the show or the manga do you ever get time for these 3 first Super Saiyans to fight in the same battle. Goku was either laid up in bed due to the heart virus, or you would have one set of father and son training in the room of spirit and time while the other one was out fighting, right?
Yep.
So when we keep that in mind, we have to consider, this is summer of 1992, July 11th, 1992, to be specific, right? So we're looking at the 30th anniversary of this movie here. Like, Jesus. Right in the same week of when this episode drops. So really, really wild to consider. Like, this movie came out 30 years ago specifically, right?
Yeah.
Alongside with that, we're also looking at the fact that this came out in that summer Toei anime fair with the Dragon Quest and Roku Denashi Blue series movies. So we've got Toei, of course, in the mix, like always, bringing these movies all together for the kids, right?
Yep.
When it comes to the manga, they would have just read the chapter of DBZ manga chapter 187. That's where Vegeta's curiosity saved Cell, literally right when he absorbs Android 18.
Oh, brother. Oh, brother.
So I find that really interesting, the timing of that, because very similar events happen in this movie, just in a whole different way.
Yeah.
We also have where if they're watching the anime, they would have just seen Dragon Ball Z episode 147, Hasten Your Training Saiyans in the Room of Spirit and Time. And this is right when Trunks and Vegeta are entering the hyperbolic time chamber. So literally, there's no point in time where any kid could have seen, over in Japan at least, all 3 of the Super Saiyans all at the same time in the same battle. For us over here stateside, we got this on February the 4th, 2003. This is right between the airings of the Majin Buu saga in late 2002 and when they would be wrapping up in spring of 2003 with the entire series.
Sweet.
So by this time, we've seen a lot of Super Saiyan action. We're just getting this movie for the first time. So pretty cool to see, of course, because we all love Super Saiyans at like 13, 14 years old back in,
of course,
2003 for some of us, maybe some of us a lot younger, right? But either way, that was the draw. All that to be said, the only draw here.
Yeah, basically. Literally. If you like Super Saiyans, you got this.
Because with this one movie here, we've just got really this immediate threat of androids because that's the current part of the manga and the anime. But the stakes aren't really that high in this movie.
Oh, hell no.
It's really interesting, just like the way it's presented, right? You have the androids kind of just like attacking through the city early in the beginning, right?
Yep.
And like it's just kind of very sudden, right? As a matter of fact, even the way this movie starts is it's very much to remind you we're in the android arc, right? Yeah. After Dr. Gero's killed by Android 17, his computer activates his earlier creations, which were androids number 13, 14, and 15, and they're all given their simple order to go kill Goku, who's in the middle of shopping with the fam, right?
All right, who are you guys? Red ribbon, eh? Now I know why I can't sense your life force. You two aren't organic.
Yeah.
So the battle goes on. Super Android 13 goes under a transformation, and we've got the 3 Super Saiyans to try to stop him from, I guess, killing Goku and everybody, right?
Yeah, basically.
Pretty basic story here, right?
Yeah.
But outside of that, I mean, it is really like hot-blooded action of our 3 Super Saiyans fighting at the same time, but they're getting their asses beat.
Pretty much. It's for like literally. I find it funny that this is the selling point, Super Saiyans, and these guys didn't even turn Super Saiyan until like literally a beatdown. I don't understand that logic per se, but this is a Toeiism where your characters legitimately have to get their ass completely handed to them before they even transform. I don't know why they did 3 years of training just to master these forms to a degree, and they're still having trouble to activate this form. It seems like from what I saw. So again, LOL Toei, you did something that I don't put it past you to keep the formula alive, but it's kind of funny. Your selling point is 3 Super Saiyans and they don't transform until damn near death. So
I mean, you would think that even your boy Trunks would have transformed off rip.
My God,
that the one most hurt by androids, right?
That guy, Mr. Serious. I'm not letting this timeline get destroyed. Literally, when Dr. Gero activates, pardon me.
It's no problem. But you're right. Right. As soon as he activated 17 and 18,
he's
the first thing he does is pull up on him. Is like, nah, I'm not letting y'all get rid of this timeline, because Vegeta was trying to just be like, hey, nah, let's see what happens, right?
Like him. But Trunks is like Mr. Serious. He has this PTSD going on where like he's seen this shit before. So him taking light of these androids, very out of character, I guess. Maybe he was underestimating them, but I've never gotten that vibe from Trunks at all in the original series. So again, this is probably like a Toeiism where you gotta make him a little bit lighthearted, I guess, to a degree, just to underestimate the villain before actually raising up the stakes. So whatever.
I mean,
whatever.
It's sad to say it that way, right? But the truth is that is basically just what the movie is all in all. It's Toei giving us their own story of an android related sort of action story here, but they don't give us any sort of meat to the story in terms of something to stick to, right? Even in terms of Akira Toriyama only designing the 3 characters, right? But he didn't contribute to the story's development at all, right? As a matter of fact, it's so much that where Toei got involved is that in the original designs, number 15 and 14's names were reversed.
Oh God!
The animation team was the ones who swapped those numbers for whatever story development reasons, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's just like literally Toei got their hands involved at every step of the way when it came to making this movie. Now, of course, as far as where it would fit, I mean, the time period itself is like, I mean, we don't have Gohan's not Super Saiyan, right?
Be honest. Let's be really honest. It's a clusterfuck.
Yeah,
it's a clusterfuck.
Yeah, because we have 17 just killed Dr. Gero, so 17 and 18 are out there somewhere, I guess.
They're just chilling or whatever. They're on the road again.
Basically. But everybody else is chilling too, because I mean, the Sun family's all going shopping and shit.
I don't even know how. Like Goku legitimately, I guess he woke up instantly. I guess the medicine really healed him up that fast in this movie. because he's back.
I mean, even Daizenshu 6 says the time period can be inferred that from the fact that Dr. Goro is exterminated during the course of the film, and that Gohan cannot yet become a Super Saiyan. However, at the time frame, Goku was either passed out in his contagious disease or in the middle of training in the Room of Spirit and Time. So it could be said that these are the events of a parallel world. And to be real with you, that's the only way it works.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because there, I mean, you'd have to basically they just want you to turn your brain off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this is and you got that big vibe from here. Like, this is just mindless action.
Yeah.
Like, don't take the plastic. This is a generic anime movie.
Yeah.
This is just the selling point. The title of the movie is what you're getting. That is all. Don't take this movie serious at all.
Exactly, and you really can't. But I mean, for what it is, it's pretty cool. We got some slice of life moments right in early in it with Roshi going around basically looking for the host, right?
Basically.
He makes it a instance to say like he's looking for women of a certain build, right? So it was just that's you just get these little simple gags and whatnot. Not really a whole lot added to it. Even in terms of there just being the puns, everything's really straightforward. Android number 13 was just named for the fact that 13 is an unlucky number and was an artificial human that didn't appear in the manga. 14 and 15 become before 16, so there you go. Like,
were they malfunctioning? were these Jiros? Let me throw them aside because they ain't really that much.
I guess, man. He didn't have time to get to them. Something. I will say, what I did enjoy in terms of both the sub and the dub. This is just me, right? Gotcha. I'm gonna give the dub some credit for at least having fun with it, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because the voice for Android 13 being a redneck is just hilarious to me.
That's hilarious as
like,
hell.
Like, okay, that you have this character that in Japanese he's just played straight, like it's just a dude with a vest on and a trucker hat, right? Yeah. Like, I guess really they're going for just like a Terminator sort of vibe for this movie, right? Yeah. Even down to like the way whenever Master Roshi was scanning through the crowd, like it showed like a sort of screen that looked like the Terminator when he was scanning people, right? So they're just kind of going for that sort of thing. But outside of that, on the dub, like I said, they have this like redneck, like like Trunks even calls him a redneck at one point in the dub, and like he tells him like to be quiet with this $30 haircut.
$30 haircut.
Pitiful humans. War, segregation, hatred. Is that what you've done with your free will, boy? Don't you lecture me with your $30 haircut. Goku dies.
We'll see, you red ribbon redneck.
Yeah,
infamous line.
I thought that was
infamous line right there, man.
Yeah, I thought it was. I mean, it's goofy, but at least Funimation was like, bro, like if we have nothing, let's give it a little something, right? They didn't come up with like they didn't try to explain where these androids came from or nothing. They didn't give us any like made up lines this time. I mean, outside of the whole 13's like, oh, y'all have segregation and all these injustices and stuff, right? Like, there's that, but
come on.
I mean, again, they're just playing on the character because there was nothing there, right? So I'll give them that, if anything at all. And then in the Japanese version, like we got some of the best music from the show in this movie.
Yep, that's all.
Some of Kikuchi's score directly from the Cell arc was used in this movie, which I really liked.
Yeah, that's a big plus for this movie.
Yeah,
saving grace, to be honest. But hey,
I mean, aside from that, though, really, that is about all you have when it comes to this specific movie here. I will say you have the lasting effect of there being these androids still showing up in modern content, right? Yeah. we've always had them show up in games like the Budokai Tenkaichi 3s, right?
Yeah.
We do have 13 showing up in like Xenoverse 2, Super Dragon Ball Heroes, that kind of stuff.
Yes.
But again, that's just one of those things where those characters are always going to be a part of the well that Bandai has available.
Oh, hell yeah.
To use, right? I did find it interesting that we had like a different director with this movie though, as well. We had Kazuhiro Kikuchi, who was a main director for Saint Seiya.
Oh, that's hella interesting.
And if you consider the fact that this is a movie where we have heroes grouping up to fight a continuous battle,
yeah,
at least that makes sense in how he directed the movie, right? It's just Dragon Ball Z is not a Saint Seiya story.
Oh, hell no.
So use those characters in that way, just it only goes so far if you're not gonna give them a storied reason to fight together.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, hell, even Vegeta just pops up out the ice and is like, "Hey, y'all getting y'all's ass beat? I guess y'all need somebody to help."
Literally, yeah. It's just, here's my grand entrance, and it's a good entrance. It's really cool. As a kid, I definitely popped seeing him.
Hell yeah,
like, that shit was dope. But
that's one of 13-year-old Jay's favorite scenes for sure.
Just popping out the goddamn ice, like, yo, I see y'all need my help. But it's a lot of cool moments in the movie. And I guess that's the saving grace for me. Like, you have nice little scenes that feel like samurai-esque in a sense, like the Vegeta clashing with the android, Trunks clashing with the androids, doing that little stare down where something, you're expecting the effect, who's gonna get hurt or whatever. It's kind of cool. And you do have a cool moment to a degree with, not even cool, I guess funny and infamous moment where 13 punches the living shit out of Goku's balls for whatever reason. Like,
the animation frame literally shows him snap.
Like literally. That's painful. That's crazy. Like, if you ever wanted to know how did Goten ever get formed, this movie does not help because he really did damage. It's so funny. I remember this being used in what was that? It was a cartoon on Adult Swim. Was Robot Chicken. They had their own. They had their little rendition where Goku's like, "Oh, my Dragon Balls" or whatever. So it's hilarious.
It did have that impact too. You're right.
So it was cool. Yeah, you had some moments. This movie, like, this is like a walking AMV. To be honest with you, like, if anything, like, I guess this was that era where Dragon Ball's like, let's give you moments and cool scenes, and that's about it. And you got them. Like, if you ever wanted to watch this movie, you're not watching the movie for the sake of the plot. You're watching the movie for, in my opinion, you're watching it strictly for moments. That's how I felt watching this movie. Like, this is one of those movies where, like, hey, do I really want to watch it on my spare leisure? Nah, I'm just throwing Goku getting punched by Android 13 in the balls, like, or whatever, or even the infamous one where Goku, like, absorbs the spirit bomb and hits him with the LOL Kenshiro punch and saves the day or whatever. Like, you have cool moments. Like, that's the big selling point for this movie: Saiyans and cool shit. That is all.
But I mean, when we take into consideration, right, as simple as that is as a concept, this movie did sell well, man. I mean, it made a cool 20 million in Japan whenever it first released. As 2.55 billion yen. You know what I'm saying? They had an overall attendance of 4 million people.
My God,
it's a summer celebration, bro. So they were going to be in the theaters just to see 3 Super Saiyans fight together, and even if that is all it is. Shit, it worked, bro.
It worked. This is like this is one of those decisions where it's like, yeah, you made some mid, but at the same time, you did the job. Like, you got.
Sometimes the mid do be hitting.
Like, sometimes that mid do be hitting. Like, you have to take what it is, and I guess during that time period, you're selling the movie to. That's all you really wanted. Like you're like. do you really need anything else? If you wanted a serious, like at least a serious phase of Dragon Ball, you have the manga going and you have the anime going, showing like critical parts to where like some shit really bad is gonna happen. So it's like, hey, if you wanted something really serious, go just read the official material. This is the movie. This is the movie for the fun. It's summer, yo. Like literally. It's
And with that being said, man, I mean, Toei, them being in their bag in the summer, they followed up the next summer with another one where it's like, hey, yo, listen, we're gonna get you into the theater. We might show you a little something before we get you in the theater just to get you in there. Right?
Yo.
But we're gonna get you in that damn theater and you're gonna be ready for another summer classic. And in the summer of 1993, Toei brought us The Galaxy at the Brink, the super incredible guy, aka Dragon Ball Z Movie 9, Bojack Unbound.
Earth is in grave danger.
From what?
You mean who? Bojack.
Bojack?
A dark demon of the worst sort. Psychotic, unstable, filled with malice and rage. Long ago, he tried to destroy every galaxy within the Dormidia sector.
Sounds like King Piccolo.
Yes, but far more powerful. He has an insatiable appetite for genocide. We, the guys, took it upon ourselves to stop him. All four of us fought together and sealed Bojack within a star at the edge of this galaxy.
He's trapped in a star?
Not anymore. You set him free when you destroyed my planet during your battle against Cell. The seal was broken, leaving Bojack unbound. Now he has returned for vengeance. And it looks like his first target is planet Earth.
So, my man, like I said, bro, this is the summer of 1993, July 10th of 1993 to be specific. And this time it's the Toei Anime Fair again. Now, we have to keep in mind the kids was going to show up for this one in full force either way a full year later because they got nothing but Toriyama heat and a little something else to really get them riled up, right? We had 4 movies showing, not just Dragon Ball Z Movie 9. We got Dr. Slump and Arale-chan Incha from Penguin Village with Love, as well as the 4th movie they showed, the first Yu Yu Hakusho film.
That's crazy. This was a hot year for them.
Dog.
This was a hot year.
They made sure that they were going to bring some heat to that theater that year. If you had told me, like, bro, like, you get to go see Dragon Ball Z, some Slump, some Arale, and Yu Yu Hakusho, bro, yeah, as a Japanese kid, I would have been like, yeah, no, let's go 2 times.
Oh, hell yeah. Like, I'm getting the boys back in town. Like, yo, we got to see this, dude. Like, what? You kidding me?
And considering the fact that it's a really, really hot time to be a Dragon Ball Z fan at this point, because episode 192 would have just aired, and that's where Goku tells everyone he's going to go train in the next world. Goku's decision, right?
Yeah. Oh God!
Right when he says like, "Nah, listen, I'm hanging back for a little bit," and then if you're just still reading the manga on a weekly basis in Shonen Jump, you got chapter 235, which would have just come out. The Tenkaichi Budokai draws near. This is the chapter where Gohan finishes training Videl and Vegeta's training with Trunks right before the 25th Tenkaichi Budokai. So you know a whole new arc is about to start. You don't know what's coming there. It's really interesting times to be a Dragon Ball Z fan right now.
Oh yeah, no Goku.
Yeah, like you know for a fact, like, okay, we've got Gohan and like Vegeta kind of running the show right now, right? And then if we consider the fact that in the States when this released, that's August 17th, 2004. That's a year after Dragon Ball Z ended on Toonami. So, you know, like everybody at this point that's really into Dragon Ball Z at this point would have been finished with it here in the States. And we're just really waiting for the rest of the movies to come out. Yeah. So I remember, you know, at this point, I was in high school. Wow.
Oh, we old. We old. We ancient.
Yes. But like by that point, I was just wanting to see what the Funimation version was and have my own DVD of it because, like I said, I grew up on that old VHS where I watched this, and I ran this back 1,000 times just to see Super Saiyan 2 Gohan another time.
I don't blame you, bro. It was that guy. He was that guy. That 2004? What was I doing? I know I was playing Dragon Ball games. Ooh. Blues Furry and Budokai 3. Abusing that. Literally abusing that. That's all I played. That's all I played, yo. Literally. At the time, it was rough because you weren't watching Dragon Ball episodes, but you had a lot of games. Like, and that was for me growing up, like, if we didn't have anything to watch, I would just make my own shit up. Like, I'd make my own custom stories or whatever, just using the game. So Budokai 3, that helped a lot. You know, I had my own. I had my own tournaments going on or whatever. Like, yeah, I made sure that I was gonna have fun or whatever. Like, that was my fanfic era, writing up plots or whatever in my head. You know, just typing it up, printing it out. Like, I was making my own manga. I was making my own AF. Just live day by day in the crib. So that's an interesting year for us getting the movie.
And it's so wild, man. We be having such a similar childhood, because I can definitely remember playing the games, playing the little emulators on the computer, just like playing, Butoden 2, right?
Ooh, what a game, yo!
Playing whatever I could get my hands on with Dragon Ball Z characters, and really just in the thick of it. Like, yes, man, like seeing like, oh no, I ain't ever seen Gogeta versus Broly, not knowing that years from now I will get a legit fights of that. You know what I'm saying? But like, yeah, man, doing all kinds of stuff like that, bro. It was a really hot time to be a Dragon Ball Z fan. Now, in terms of going back to Dragon Ball Z Movie 9 in and of itself, right? This one, we got the Money family, and they're hosting a Tenkaichi Budokai, but everything goes terribly wrong when Bojack and his minions show up in the final stages. The Z Warriors are handedly defeated, leaving Gohan to face off against Bojack all alone. Can Gohan's newly obtained Super Saiyan 2 transformation save the day? Bro, outside of us seeing Gohan go Super Saiyan 2, when it comes to the story here, I would say we have like maybe 2 notches higher above movie 7, just in the sense that like we get a little bit more slice of life, right?
Of course.
We get a little bit more of the characters kind of like interacting with each other. The scenes like Tien versus Trunks stand out and come to mind, or Krillin comic relief whenever he was matched up with Piccolo in the tournament, right? Stuff like that comes to mind. Other things that also kind of set this movie apart is the art direction, because this is right when Tadayoshi Yamamuro took over right along with Katsuyoshi Nakatsuru, right after Maeda left from the Perfect Cell art. So we have the first movie where we're kind of going into more, well, not so much the first. The first would be the movie before this, but a movie which I would say the art kind of goes more towards that sleeker, straighter animation as opposed to the rounder style that Maeda had before. So that was something I did notice watching these two back to back when I was younger and here again recently. But going back to just how they marketed this in Japan originally, like we said earlier, they would get fans in the theater by showing a trailer that, interestingly enough, none of the stuff that happens in this trailer happens in the movie.
They lied.
Big time.
You lied.
Now, we will leave a link to the trailer in the description of this episode, so that way you can watch it. Because it's not something where, even if I played an audio clip, like, you wouldn't be able to tell what's going on. It literally, the trailer just shows Gohan, Trunks, and Krillin come across some villains that are like hanging off of the top of a cave, like vampires or something, like bats in a cave.
Like what, dude?
Yeah. And then it shows like Goku doing a warp Kamehameha in mid-space, and then him teleporting away from something with instant transmission. And That's all the original trailer from Japan shows you. And I watched this movie twice this past week. I don't remember none of that shit happening
No
here.
Super Saiyan goddamn Goku in this movie. You guys lied. Like, what? Imagine playing with the kid. Like, yo, you playing with the kid's soul right here. Man, Goku is dead on both ends of the field. He's dead. If you're watching the anime, he's dead. He's not. He said he's not coming back. And I'm he's still dead. He's only coming back for one day. So you're just tight, regardless. Like, okay, this is the only chance I'm gonna get to see Goku from what this movie's showing me. I'm gonna see Goku, and he's transforming, so shit is real. The villain must be tough and bad if he has to go transform. So
That's right.
again, you lied. You lied. Toei, you lied. Japan lied. The subs lied.
And not even the subs lied, the dubs lied too.
No.
We got Bojack talking about how, like, oh, your dad made a mistake. Wish your dad, for me in hell or whatever. And it's like, bro, Bojack, you ain't never met Goku. You ain't never seen Goku a day in your life.
You never met this dude. This is the first time we even saw you. That's the first time we even alluded to the fact you are a thing. Who are you, man? Who is this guy?
And then Gohan talking about I'm my father's son with the Kamehameha. It's just like,
Come on, dude.
like what are we doing here, dog?
Come on, like,
I will say, like, unlike movie 7 where they were just trying to add some to it, the dub here is just like being silly. Funimation as usual, doing what they do, throwing in standard lines where it's just like, oh, okay, let's try. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's try to make some sense where we don't need to make more sense.
Mm-hmm.
There are little cool, neat parts though. Like I said, Gohan sort of going through that whole fighting style the way he did when he fought the Cell Juniors against Bojack and his minions. You know what I'm saying? His gang, right? The Galactic Warriors. It's just like there wasn't a lot outside of that though, right? I will say there's some like parts even in like the animation when I was a kid I got mixed up with.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like when Trunks was fighting against Goku, he does that transformation state, and then Trunks like punches through him, and then the camera turns back, and you see like Bojack beat down Trunks right after
that's
that.
crazy.
It's like his silhouette, right? To me, as a kid, I thought it was that like Goku transformed into Bojack or something. I don't know. It's just weird. Like I don't know. Like the way that it went about it was just like really odd. But yeah, nah. Like outside of that was really all that kind of got me as a kid. That was like more of a what the hell happened there sort of thing. Like, I will say there were some like other little cool moments too, such as when Goku's playing cards with King Kai over in Outworld and Outworld, what is this, Mortal Kombat? In Otherworld, when they're playing cards together, you see the Emperor Pilaf's Shu and Mai on those cards, like the only time they show up in Dragon Ball Z. So that was
dope.
Pretty awesome with them having that little cameo there too, and the color that they used in this, like the art direction with those darker lines, the bluish hue to Goku's hair, Hercule's hair, all that kind of stuff just stands out.
Hell yeah.
In terms of how they went forward with movie
9. Yeah. For me, there's not much. Like, yo, I want to say that this movie is really not that good to begin with. So, like, the only cool moments I see from this movie in particular is like the last 5 minutes of the movie. Like Goku just appearing in the movie. That's really a big thing for me, because again, this is the era, this is the arc. I guess you're supposed to take place after the Cell games, and Goku's like, I'm not coming back to this place again, like go on.
At the very least, yeah, I will say this one you could say this one could happen.
Yeah, like this is the only time you're gonna see like Goku even make an appearance until that 7 years has passed. So it was kind of cool, like Goku just like breaking the rules of Otherworld. You know, you're not supposed to appear like that. You need a favor. Well, it took a favor for him to come back for like one day. So for him to just go back on the earth and save his son from getting smirked, it's kind of cool. And the little pep talk, not really pep talk. You just told his son like, "Yo, bro, stop acting spoiled. Beat his ass." It's kind of cool though. That was really cool.
You know what? I will say I thought that part was dope because it also goes back to when Goku and Gohan were in the hyperbolic time chamber, and Gohan tells him, "Yo, Piccolo always said you wouldn't really be the one that's right to train me like that because you too soft."
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
You know what I mean?
That's really dope, yo.
So to me, it always came off as like Goku recognized like, nah, the only way I can really get through to you is if like there's something to kind of piss you off.
And that's
right?
That's really been Gohan's thing. Like, yo, you got to rough him up a bit. Like,
yeah,
like, he's not. You can't do the soft shit because in nature he's really a nice little soft kid. Like, he's a humanitarian basically at that point. Like, so you got to be a little bit rough with him, and we saw that. He wasn't cutting corners. Goku's kind of like, yo, I left you over here to defend Earth. Why are you getting your ass beat? Like, are you making me regret my decision? Like, it ain't even been like a couple of months or so.
Like, nah, bro, quit being soft. Get out there, do what you gotta do. You know what I mean? He goes Super Saiyan 2 immediately, shows up, shows out, gets rid of Bojack and then real quick. I will say I like the way that was handled. But like you said, it's the last 5 minutes that
like one of the movies, like that's the last 5 minutes is like your selling point. Like this is the real shit that you're gonna like and enjoy. That's the seriousness. Everything else is lighthearted, and I don't mind lightheartedness because I like slice of life shit. Especially with DBZ because you don't get that much in DBZ. Like you're not getting no slice of life shit. Maybe in the filler or so, but other than that, like everything is serious. So like the first 30 minutes really cool. The last 20 minutes or so, it's like what? Like, yo, you're just trying to replicate the Cell Saga, and it's done terribly wrong. We've seen,
and that feels like more of Toei having to do what they always do with like, okay, we got to get this to an ending so that way we've showcased all we needed to. But those first 30 minutes, it's interesting you point that out because this movie does have a different director than most of the Dragon Ball Z movies as well, right? Yeah. This movie has Yoshihiro Ueda as the main director. Now, he's someone who was a director for Dr. Slump throughout most of its anime, right? Yeah. But he's also the director for episode Bardock. Plan to eradicate the Saiyans.
Oh shit!
Son Goku and his friends return.
One of my favorites.
And Legend of the Galactic Heroes episodes 28 and 33.
Holy shit! So I already love this guy off the strength.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he's somebody who's good at character interaction. He's someone who's good at building moments, right? Like even the whole deal with Hercule playing sick, right? And being like, damn, why these dudes have to show up to this tournament?
Yeah, he's really good at that. So it shows.
Yeah, it shows in those moments when it's nothing that has to do with with the main fighting in and of itself. I dig how again, like there was like the presentation of the family that was running the tournament too. Like they're just like really jokey characters, right? They do feel like characters that would have been in Dr. Slump.
Hell yeah, for sure.
So there's at least some of that because not every Dragon Ball Z movie has those sorts of character interactions. So I'm gonna give this movie props there personally for it having those, but it could also have a lot to do with the fact that I absolutely loved this movie as a kid. Like I really did. This was one of those ones where like You know how earlier we said like sometimes mid be hitting though. This was some really good mid, bro. Like this.
Oh man, this was a mid that you cherished.
Yeah, bro. You know what I mean? This is that like, you know what? We used to have that back after school, you know what I'm saying? We used to just chill and kick back
Oh
and
yeah,
enjoy some Dragon Ball Z.
yeah.
This was that
Oh.
mid, bro. You know what I'm saying? This is the mid you reminisce about. You know what I'm saying? This is the nostalgia mid. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I'll give it that. Like it was an enjoyable experience for me watching it back in Japanese. It was a lot of fun. And also, R.I.P. to Kohei Miyauchi,
Mm.
Master Roshi's
Oh
original
yeah,
Japanese
yeah.
voice actor. This is his last appearance
Damn.
in Dragon Ball Z. So, you know, the god given one last movie appearance in this one definitely got to pay respects and homage to that.
Yeah, so nice little thing to appreciate. But that's about it for that movie. For real.
I will say the strongest impact this movie even has really is that, I mean, shit, that boy Toyotaro was like, okay, Bojack and them, how about we make the heaters?
Oh yeah.
You know
Oh
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Like the new characters that are in even the granola arc right
Mhm.
now are definitely homage to
Oh
Bojack
hell
and his
yeah.
game. So even though we have Bojack showing up in the games, just like Super Android 13 earlier,
Mhm.
at the very least they remember these characters enough to maybe not give them the same names and the same designs, but we do have a crew that's so similar. Like you could almost say like it's the official like versions of them, right? Like it's pretty damn close. We even have like one character in their group that can transform.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, you know,
Mhm.
like it's right there.
Yeah.
So
So
lasting effects there.
hell yeah.
The outside of all that, man, like what were when it comes to like the characters themselves, right? Were there any points in time where you were like, okay, no, like I want to see Super Android 13 or Bojack fight a character that wasn't in this movie? And if there was one, what character would you have wanted to see go against these guys?
I wanted a personal fight with Piccolo with 13 and with Bojack, especially with Bojack, because again, like I feel like Piccolo, this is a character that like you feel like he's getting pushed aside later on after the Cell arc. So
Yeah,
it's like, yo, this guy he just fused with Kami, and he was holding his own pretty fine with Android 17. So he could fight, he could scrabble. He's the equivalent to a regular Super Saiyan Vegeta or so. So
that's
he
true.
could fight. So why doesn't he get some licks in? And just straight away from that formula of just him appearing only to save Gohan's tail. Like there's a lot of things that could have been like, okay, we could have really worked around with the movies that we were given. Like there's so much things you could have done, and I don't really like to like do the whole, you know, rearrange a movie thing because
Yeah,
you get what you get or whatever. But there's a lot of left things that are left that could have been done well, especially in Bojack. Like Bojack to me in this movie is like, like how around Dragon Ball Z the Buu arc finishing, and you have that whole time period before the peaceful arc where basically like they just reunite and do that one last tournament. Like
yes,
this is your time to shine. You have a nice little piece between the Cell arc ending and basically whatever time period you got before the Majin Buu arc really starts. This was the time for you to really take advantage of things. I felt like, yo, you left a lot of things to be, worked on, like Vegeta.
that's true.
I don't really care for Vegeta like that, other than like what he does, beat up motherfuckers are, like, I like the violence from him, but there's a lot of things that you could have done with him. Especially you left it, like, you teased it to a degree. When
I saying he had lost his will to fight.
yeah, like, he
Yeah.
lost his will to fight. Hold on, what do you mean by that? We know, as the fan, we know why he did that, and you even had Chi Chi saying the case, like, yo, because Goku somehow is not really here. So, but you could have done more with it. Like, this is the one time where you could have, like, worked upon this movie to, like, build these characters for the next arc, because they do a lot of things the next arc that are, like, certainly questionable.
That's true.
Especially, like, yo, in the world tournament, like that, like, what? Why do you have Piccolo bowing out from a fight? And why do you have Vegeta, like, falling into deep temptation just to get strength from another guy? I thought he was comfortable with his strength. Why does he need to, do these things? There's a lot of things that you could have worked upon. Like, oh well,
They don't touch on it very much from that point. You are right. It's just brought up that Vegeta, didn't have it really in him to fight. You can assume it's because Goku ain't there, right?
Yeah.
Just because there's that offhand comment. But he only really shows up once Trunks is getting his ass beat, and that's only the case because he only started caring about Trunks after Trunks got killed.
So,
You know?
and it doesn't really, like, that's something that you just have to allude to, because you've seen it before. It ain't talked about.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much left potential. For one time that you want Funimation to actually do something to throw a little bit of nuance for the characters, they do it. Like, literally,
Yeah, they even missed out on the chance.
they didn't even do it. And you expect it from Funimation. Funimation is the king of, like, doing unnecessary shit. But this is the one, I guess, if it's necessary, you ain't gonna touch it. Like, if it's unnecessary, they're gonna do it. Just very wasted potential for movie 9. Very, very much.
Heard. And yeah, really, Piccolo, like you said earlier, should have been the one to get some licks in with these fights, man.
That's,
it,
that's Toriyama's favorite character. Like,
yeah.
why can't Lee do something? Like, he's not useless. He's not. He can fight. This is the last time that you're gonna see him actually get real licks in. Use it. Piccolo don't do shit in the Majin Buu arc besides be a guidance counselor for little kids. That's all he does. So
Yeah.
take advantage.
He's a babysitter in a lot of the Majin Buu arc. You're right.
Vegeta, he's only gonna have that one cool fight with Goku, and then he's gonna turn into stone until he gets brought back. Give us some action. Give us some sort of, a little bit oomph. It's there. Like, it hurts. Like, if there was none, like, if there wasn't things to be worked upon, I would have just ignored it. But you mentioned it. Don't tease me with things and not expound upon it. That's really whack. Like, it's really whack. I get it. It's a nice little movie to, like, unwind. But no. This is an important time period in Dragon Ball. For me, it is. It's so much things that you have, like, you can work upon, so you can make the next arc do something. It'll stand out. But oh well. I'm not Toei. I'm just a fan. What do I know? What do I really know?
And at the end of the day, we're really just here to give as much as we can as far as any sort of retrospective on the movies. And we can only really work with what they presented in the films themselves, right?
Exactly.
Obviously, when you've got this many films in a franchise, not everything is gonna be the dopest, hypest, greatest movie ever, right? I mean that you don't. We don't get to those until 1995. But like it's just something where at the very least what they did do was say, hey, listen, if you're looking to see all three Super Saiyans in the same movie, here you go. If you're looking to see Gohan go Super Saiyan 2 again against a fierce enemy, here you go. Other than that, bruh, that's what you're getting in the theater, and that's it.
We only have one serious moment in us, and that's about it. Nothing more, nothing less. If you want seriousness, go rewatch the anime or go buy some Shonen Jump chapter, and that's about it. Like, you're not getting anything serious. I get it.
At least not in the summer of 1992 and 1993.
Yeah,
But I will say though, dog, in the spring of 93, the spring of 94, and the summer of 94, these boys at Toei, they had somebody, man. They
Oh,
had somebody where they tried. They gave us. They was like, oh, okay, listen, man. If we're just gonna give you characters here where it's just we're gonna feature a battle and that's it, and we're just giving you these moments with the main cast themselves. They with these movies in 93 and 94 decided, no, we're gonna give you a character that we're gonna feature.
Jesus.
And this character is gonna give the main cast problems.
That's all he does. He's gonna get
For a whole year and a half.
He gives a
And that man is the legend himself, the legendary Super Saiyan Broly.
legendary idiot.
I mean, let's at least wait till we get to him to tear the man down if we're gonna do that.
Yeah.
But I will say it's gonna be a lot of fun going over these three because these are three of the most famous Dragon Ball Z movies, at least in the West, ever. Like these are some of the ones that put the Dragon Ball Z movies on the map. At least two of these, I'll put it that way. With Dragon Ball Z movies 8, Burn Up, Red Hot, Raging, Super Fierce Fight, also known as Broly the Legendary Super Saiyan, Dragon Ball Z movie 10, The Dangerous Duo, Super Warriors, Can't Rest, which is Broly's Second Coming. That's right. And then we had Dragon Ball Z movie 11, Super Warrior Defeat, I'm the One Who Will Win, also known as Dragon Ball Z Bio Broly, also known as the one that nobody likes. I can't tell you a single person I know who says Bio Broly's their favorite. I can't tell you.
Really got to be a different species to like that one. But hey.
But like we said, we're going to save all three of those next week as we're going into a triple feature with that boy Broly from Dragon Ball Z. So y'all be sure to join in. Tune in next week. Make sure you go ahead and watch those three movies. If you stop one short, we won't blame you. Trust us. We understand. But we got to do that for y'all either way. So tune in next Wednesday. We'll be glad to give y'all these Dragon Ball Z movies, all three, and go into how we felt back when we were younger and how we take away from these, as well as all the nitty gritty along the way.
Yep.
But until then, it's your boy Jay.
It's your boy D.
We're glad to have brought you this week, man. And always remember, subs lie, dubs lie. We don't. Peace, y'all.
I'll at your boy.